Beardo Banjo.
Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new month. It is the 1st of June and that means it's time for another new VR Games Roundup video. Before I get started though, I do just want to temper your expectations. I want to set your expectations accordingly. I don't want you getting too excited before we get into this. June is typically a month where games are announced. It isn't typically a month where games are released, or certainly not a month where any of the big AAA heavy hitter games are released. And that's very true of June 2022. Yes, there are some great looking VR games coming up in today's episode, and I'm very excited for a lot of them, but they aren't the huge show-stopping games you're probably all excited for. However, there are 3 game announcement events or showcase events that we should all be very excited for. 3 occasions where we could be seeing a glimpse at the future of VR coming very soon, and I'll touch on them in just a moment. Let's get into the video and have a look at all the VR games that we know of which are releasing in the month of June. For some reason it seems like all the VR devs have opted to release their games on either the 2nd of June or the 9th of June. Everything is packed into those 2 days. So let's get started with the 2nd of June. The first game we're looking at today is The Last Clockwinder. Now this is actually the game I'm most excited to play this month. It's a VR puzzle game where you have to play with yourself. And I know what that sounds like, and I promise I'm not being filthy. In this game you can clone yourself multiple times to create a chain to carry out certain tasks and to automate certain machines. Now that sounds kind of complex, but imagine you were working in a shop with clones of yourself. So there's one of you out back picking the product off the shelf. They throw it to one out front who catches it and then scans it through the till, who then throws it to another one who catches it, bags it, gives it to the customer. You have to clone yourself in these puzzle environments to carry out a task, and each clone has a different role to play in that task. The concept is incredibly unique and I'm very excited to go hands-on with it. This one's out tomorrow, it's The Last Clockwinder, and I think it looks fantastic. Also launching on the 2nd of June is First Person Tennis. Now I don't know what else I can say about this because the name of the game completely encapsulates everything that the game is. It's tennis in first person. In VR. I guess I should just run the trailer. I really don't have much else to say about this. I think it's great to see a tennis game coming along in VR. I don't think I've played any tennis games. I've of course played a few table tennis games. I've played some bowling games. I've played darts. I don't think I've played a tennis game in VR up to this point. So it's good to see one coming through. It's in first person. It looks pretty good. It's got a realistic graphical style. They're not going for a stylized or cartoony aesthetic. And it's out on the 2nd of June. First person tennis. Also releasing on the 2nd of June is a game I've actually already covered on this channel. So if you're curious to know my thoughts, go and check out that video. I'll put a little link somewhere. World of Mechs. Now this is a new entry into the very popular VR mech operating genre. There's quite a lot of mech games for VR headsets, and I think that's mainly because you sit in a stationary position in a cockpit, and it's very easy to replicate that feeling in VR, and it feels very good when done right in VR. Now, World of Mechs is a much more arcadey approach to the genre than something like Vox Machina. In Vox Machina, you can interact with all the dials, all the switches, all the levers, and everything in the cockpit around you. Whereas in World of Mechs, they're going for a far more hands-off approach, and all the controls are really done with just the buttons and dials on your controllers themselves. Sadly, in World of Mechs, you can't reach around to interact with things, but the action is far more fast and frantic than most of the other VR mech games I have played. There's a huge amount to unlock, there's a campaign to work through, there's online multiplayer, and it does feel like it's positioned to definitely suit a particular audience. It wasn't my favourite mech game, but it might be your favourite mech game. World of Mechs also out on the 2nd of June. The last game releasing on the 2nd of June is a weird one, but I'm very excited to check it out. Back when I started this channel, I used to play a lot of those kind of strange, janky simulation games. Things like Car Park Simulator or Lumberjack Simulator. And this is one of those in VR. Barn Finders. Now in Barn Finders, you literally go around, Looking for barns, abandoned barns, you go into them and you find items inside them. Things like stuffed animals and old artifacts and antique vases and things like that. You have to take them back to your base of operations, clean them up, give them a new lease of life, and then sell them in your shop for a profit. It's a very, very bizarre concept. This is actually a VR version of an existing flat screen game, and I'm excited to jump in. These kind of janky, weird simulation games usually are a lot of fun. They don't always perform particularly well, but I'm sure I'll get a kick out of it. Barn Finders VR, also out on the 2nd of June. The final thing happening on the 2nd of June is not a game release. This is the first of the 3 showcase events taking place this month. The newest PlayStation State of Play event is going to focus on PlayStation VR 2 releases, or at least a portion of the State of Play event is going to focus on PSVR 2 releases. We should get a glimpse at some PSVR 2 gameplay and maybe even a look at the launch lineup. I don't expect to find anything out about prices or release dates, but it'll be good to see the kind of graphical fidelity we might be seeing on PlayStation VR 2, and it'll be great to see a glimpse at some of the titles we can expect in the near future. I will be streaming this tomorrow. It will be live at 11 PM UK time, and it's scheduled to be half an hour long. Very excited for this one. Moving on to the 9th of June, one of my favourite VR physics-based fighting games is finally launching on the Quest 2 platform, Swordsman VR. Now this one was supposed to come out last month. I did actually cover it in my previous video, but due to a last-minute delay, it got knocked into June. There's actually a few games on this list which have suffered the same fate. Now if you haven't already played Swordsman VR on PC or PlayStation VR, let me just tell you that it's basically another weapons-driven, physics-driven fighting game, an arena fighting game with one-on-one options, one-on-2 options. I think the max is 1-on-3, but I could be wrong about that. There's a huge array of weapons to choose from, modifiers, a campaign to play through that takes you up against samurais and pirates and gladiators. I really enjoyed my time with Swordsman, and I'm excited to check out the Quest 2 version. If you're looking for something as an alternative to Blade and Sorcery, Swordsman's one of the best options out there. Also on the 9th of June, and also delayed from May 2022, is the PCVR release of Green Hell VR. Another one that I'm very excited for, but also slightly apprehensive about. Now I have played a close to final build of the PCVR version, and I will say this, you're gonna need to upgrade your GPU. I'm still struggling to run the PCVR version of Green Hell VR on my RTX 2080 i7 9700K processor and 32GB of RAM rig that I currently have. The game looks fantastic. It definitely is a visual upgrade over the Quest version, and it's far more open. It isn't as linear as the Quest version, and that excites me, but my PC is being pushed to the absolute limit to run this thing and keep it looking nice. I will have some full-blown impressions and thoughts and gameplay to share come the 9th of June, but for now let me just say, if you're interested in this one, it might be time to run out and buy a new graphics card. Also releasing on the 9th of June is a new update for Real Fishing VR. Now this is 2 new locations, East Boulder Lake and Lake Powell, and these are going to be free to anyone who owns the US West DLC. If you own that DLC, you will receive these new locations completely free of charge. They're also going to continue to release new locations bi-weekly, so I believe every 2 weeks you should have some new locations to fish in. Now, Real Fishing VR is one of the most relaxing, enjoyable, and social games out there. If you play this with a friend, stick on a YouTube video in there, get in the virtual boat, cast your line, talk some rubbish, and just enjoy. It's one of the most escapist games I've played in VR, and it's great to see it being continually supported and updated. Also, on the 9th of June, because everything is compressed into these 2 days, is the Upload Summer VR Games Showcase. Now this is basically E3 for VR fans. The team at Upload have pulled together what sounds like an amazing show this year. We should be getting new game reveals, updates on existing games that we already know about, and basically just loads of VR goodness. I'll also be streaming this one. I can't wait to see what's in store. I think we're going to get a new announcement from Fast Travel Games, so a brand new game from the team at Fast Travel. And other than that, It's all surprises in store. I can't wait to see what's coming. This is the second of the 3 announcement events in June. And then, also, on the 9th of June, just a few hours after the Upload VR showcase, is the Summer Game Fest. Now, Summer Games Fest is basically taking over from E3 in my opinion. This is the show where all the biggest names in gaming are announced, all the biggest releases. This is where we first got to see Elden Ring, and this is where this year it seems like we're going to see the first glimpse of the new Silent Hill project. Whatever Bloober team are working on, and I think it's going to be Silent Hill, looks set to be shown at this showcase. Now, I don't know if we'll see any VR games here. We did get the first look at Among Us at a previous Game Fest, so who knows? There may be a VR showing here, but if not, it's fine because we've got the Upload showcase the same day. The 9th of June is jam-packed. I'll be streaming twice that day, once for Upload, and then again for the Summer Games Fest. Cannot wait. It's going to be an overload for anyone who's a fan of games, whether it's VR or flat, doesn't matter. It's going to be a great day for us all. Moving on to the 17th of June now, Shadowgate VR Minds of Mythrok finally gets a PC VR release. Now, this game's been available on the Quest platform for quite some time. I've covered it on the channel and I absolutely loved it. It was a true dungeon crawling puzzle adventure with so much character. The writing was fantastic. Your crow or raven companion is snarky and I hated them just as much as I loved them. The puzzles were genuinely challenging. The environments were genuinely dangerous. And if you're a fan of the original Shadowgate game, if you remember it, it was from many, many years ago. I think before I was born, then getting to experience that in VR is surely an absolute treat for fans of the series. Shadowgate VR should be getting a nice graphical overhaul as well when it arrives on PCVR on the 17th of June. Then on the 28th of June, we get probably the most exciting, action-packed, nail-biting, thrilling VR game ever imagined. Kayak Mirage VR, or Kayak VR Mirage. A lot of VR content creators have already played this on YouTube. You've probably seen footage out there. This is one I've yet to go hands-on with, but people have basically called it one of the best looking VR games ever. The water effects, the general environments that the game takes place in, all look absolutely stunning, and I've only seen it on flat screen, so I can't imagine what this game looks like inside a VR headset. It is a kayaking game though, so don't go in expecting like white knuckle terror. You're just kayaking, so probably a chill out experience, but a visually stunning one on the 28th of June. The next 2 games on this list don't have definite release dates but are both scheduled to release in June. The first of these 2 is Mothergunship Forge, a VR follow-up to the original Mothergunship, which was a roguelike bullet hell shooter. Mothergunship Forge looks very similar to that, but it's in VR, and it allows you to craft and create your own weaponry, which is just amazing. I love that concept. I want to be able to put together a 20-barrel shotgun. I don't know what scenario or situation would call for a 20-barrel shotgun, and I'm pretty sure firing the thing would remove the top half of my body from the bottom half of my body, but I want to try it, and Mothergunship Forge is setting out to do that. In essence, it is a roguelike game, so it's something to be played over and over again. It's built to be experienced in a full room scale environment, lots of dodging, lots of shooting, lots of bullet hell, and lots of mad scientist creating. The last game releasing in June is one that was also supposed to release in May, but again suffered a delay: The Last Taxi. Now, this is a narrative game. It's not an action-packed game that sees you driving around the streets picking people up as fast as you can. It's a sci-fi adventure where you engage in conversation with the passengers that get into your taxi. You meet these unique individuals, you speak to them, you learn about their story, and you have to solve an overarching mystery that drives the narrative forward. I like these slow-paced games. I think they're a nice change from the action and the shooting and the bombastic stuff, but I know it won't be for everyone. Last Taxi looks like Firewatch if you were a taxi driver, is the worst way to explain that game, but I'm just going to stick with it. Last Taxi scheduled to release at some point in June. Now, I did just want to chuck one more game on the end here, which is releasing on the 1st of July, because by the time I get to July and I do my new games video, this game's already out, so I just wanted to put it on people's radars now. F1 2022, it is 22, isn't it? Sometimes they do that mad thing where they say 23. No, it is 2022. F1 2022 has full VR support. Now, I don't know in what capacity you'll be able to play the game in VR. Will it be the entirety of the game, or will it be a set collection of tracks, cars, and experiences? I'm not sure at this stage, but VR support for F1 2022 is very exciting to me. I'm not a huge VR racing game fan. I'm not a big racing game fan in general, but I will play an F1 game in VR. I want to feel the speed of being in an F1 car. I want to crash at about 1 million miles an hour in an F1 car in VR, because I know I will crash because I'm not good at racing games. Really excited for this, really excited to check it out. It's a PCVR launch, it won't be available on the Quest. I imagine you'll need a pretty beastie PC to run it in VR, but it does have VR support. Very exciting to see Flat Games coming at launch with VR support. And that is everything releasing in June, everything we know about anyway. I know there will be some games which get announced like the week before release, because that keeps happening recently. That's kind of how things seem to be in the VR world. People just say there's a game coming out next week. Get hype. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Please do leave a like, leave a comment, and hit subscribe. As I say, I will be streaming a lot this month. I'll be streaming all the key announcement showcase events, and I'm really excited to see what games we have in store this coming year, not just for VR, but for flat screen as well. I'll see you soon for another one, guys. Take care of yourselves.